Hi there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Serenity and I am a millennial homemaker and first responder wife. And today I'm going to be talking to you about five practical ways that you can bless your hubby. All right, are you ready? Let's get into it. Okay, welcome back. So a couple things that I did just want to address before I get into it is I did just cut curtain bangs in my hair, so if you see me like playing with them, that's why. I'm still very much trying to figure them out. B, yes, I'm wearing the same outfit as the last video. I am pre-filming this. We have a lot of changes coming on soon, so including getting my wisdom teeth out, so not looking forward to that. So I'm pre-filming a few videos today. The third thing I wanted to discuss, or just let you know, is that I do have my planner here on my lap, so if I look down, it's because I'm looking at my notes. All right, so jumping right into it as I pull up my notes, what I wanted to discuss was, as I said, 5 practical ways to bless your husband. Now, one thing that I would like to comment on is I do believe that there is such a big difference between service and servitude. And I think that in society lately, we have forgotten that. We tend to like confuse the two and assume that just because I am serving somebody, I am making a practice of serving somebody because I love them, the idea becomes that I live in servitude to them, that I am like their slave. And that is completely incorrect. That's something I do just want to dispel. Yes, as wives, we are called to serve our husbands. That is how we love them. And so no, that does not mean that we live in servitude to them. It is simply, frankly, it's the hierarchy of marriage. It is part of God's order that does just help things to flow and thrive. I have found that since I have adopted the more traditional marriage roles, the more traditional placements in marriage, I almost hate to put it that way, but you get what I'm trying to say. I have found that since I have really delved into that and made a practice of serving my husband, I have been much happier in my marriage. Our marriage has been thriving much more because it enables my husband to lead as he is then called. So with that out of the way, that little disclaimer, the first thing I wrote down is to take the time to prioritize him in the morning. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, especially if you're a stay-at-home wife or a stay-at-home mom, I understand that it can be different if you like have 2 different work schedules. It was different for us when we had 2 different work schedules. We always had to kind of try and jimmy that, but either way, I still tried to make it a priority if I could, to wake up with him or maybe even before and go ahead and make his breakfast, make his coffee, make his lunch, just get those things set up so that he is really set up for the day. Now, by doing that, that shows him that you value him, that he is one of the first things you're thinking of in the morning and that you want to set him off to a good start. So that is the first thing that I have written down as a way of really showing your husband that you love him, a way of serving your husband. Point 1, prioritize him in the morning through making his breakfast, making his coffee, making his lunch if you're able. The second thing I wrote down is pay attention to his preferences. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, honestly, my curtain bangs are a good example. I always have had either like blunt bangs or no bangs, and that's just always kind of what I've done. But I've realized my husband doesn't really like blunt bangs. He says it reminds him of his mom, which is not a good thing as the wife. So no blunt bangs. And I just noticed, and I would like kind of play with my grown out bangs, he really liked that. So it was just those little things of, okay, he really does like when I have something kind of going on in my face with my hair, but he doesn't like the straight across bangs. So I paid attention to his preferences and got curtain bangs, which now we have to figure out, but so it goes. The other thing was, okay, let me look at this. Let me look at my notes. It says here, my husband has mentioned liking snacks where he can pour it into his mouth, like little baggies, while he works due to the kind of dirty, grimy nature of his job. He doesn't always want to be touching his food. When he is on his lunch break, then yeah, he will wash his hands. He's fine to touch his food. But the reality is, as most first responders know, you're kind of eating while you go. So he likes food where he doesn't have to touch it. He can just open the bag and like kind of dump it in. So pay attention to his preferences. While I'm at the grocery store now, I'm not gonna buy snacks that he has to pick apart and eat, almost like a muffin. Like, he doesn't like those. Instead, I buy him things in a little baggie that he can just pour in. And he has said that that has really helped him out. All right. Point 3, make time for his hobbies. So to reiterate, point 1, prioritize him in the morning. Point 2, make note of his preferences. Point 3, prioritize his hobbies. He makes time for me to do my hobby, which is YouTube. So I want to make sure that I am prioritizing his hobbies. Now, an example of what that looks like for us. I have study on Saturday, which is one of his off days right now. I have a girls' Bible study. So we have decided that then that is his time to like play his electric guitar super duper loud, because he is somebody that does that, where he's like, he just wants to jam out. And I love his music, but sometimes it's just louder than my eardrums are accustomed to. So when I'm at study, that's his time for that. Being a first responder, he likes shows pertaining to first responders, and sometimes they are more gory than I can handle as a sensitive feminine woman. So that's his time for that, to watch the shows that are just a little bit too much for me, but you know, they're his hobbies. They're the things that he enjoys. He's a masculine man. Of course he's gonna like shows with a little bit of gore, especially that pertain to his job. Like, of course he's gonna like that. So that's his time. We've prioritized his hobbies so that he can still get them in every week and feel like he's feeding that side of himself, but we're doing it in a way where I'm able to also shield myself and protect my sensitive femininity. All right, so that was point number 3, make time for his hobbies. And then point number 4, look for where he needs extra hands. So what does that mean? Well, one of the points I put down was, one example of this is the first point, prepping their meals in the morning. I know that for my husband, when he's getting ready to go out the door, he's fixing his hair, he's shaving, he's, you know, getting his shirt all ready. So in the morning, it's hard for him to do that and make his breakfast, especially when he needs to sleep, all of that. So I know if I can make his breakfast and coffee while he is getting ready to leave, then it's being those extra hands so that he just feels more set for the day. The other example was, I will read the word to him while he eats. So that's something where at first I felt a little bit like, oh, well, isn't our quiet time supposed to be only us and the Lord? And I felt the Lord convict me of like, well, yes, but you don't know the conversations he's having with me, like he's having with the Lord while I'm reading to him and while he's eating. And so one of the things that I really have realized is that for my husband, he doesn't have much time when he's not at work. And so with that, reading to him in the morning while he eats the breakfast, it allows him to really digest the word with the food and ponder that throughout the day. Whereas otherwise, if I'm not reading it to him, he's not going to listen. Like, he's not going to have a chance to get that in during the day. And more so, if it's just like the random Bible app reading it to you, he kind of tunes it out. I think we all do, at least I do, because it's not a familiar voice. I kind of want. But when it's me reading it to him, he knows my voice, he knows my inflections, he's more prone to listen to that. So by me reading the word to him in the morning, I'm really allowing that to soak in. I'm helping him get that saturation so that then when he goes to work in an intense environment, he is covered by the word and it is in there for him to ponder throughout the day. And my 5th and final point, pray for him specifically. Only you know the areas where your husband really needs prayer. One book I found that I do absolutely love is The Power of a Praying Wife. It gives you some zone areas to kind of deliberately pray over, but even more than that, you know the areas where your husband needs to be covered in prayer. So pray for him specifically. Make a habit out of it. That is more important than any of the other points. I cannot stress that enough. All right? I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope that these points maybe inspired you a little bit, blessed you, gave you some ideas of things that you can do to serve your husbands, and we can really start making an emphasis on being amazing wives. You know, I saw a post on Instagram recently that pointed out, why do we see all these things of like husband wins, husband of the week, but we don't do that anymore about being a wife? There's no longer this of like how to be an amazing wife. There's no longer these hashtags about like winning as a wife. It's all about the amazing husband going out of his way, which is amazing. Yes, we need that, but we are the wives. We are called to serve our husbands. So let's take up that mantle and do so. All right? Please do like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you here again for my next video. Bye.